Welcome to my humble abode, where I do all the teaching and all the marking. In this video, I'm going to comment or report back to you on your first assignment, which I have to say was great. I enjoyed reading all of your documents, and I was able to gain an understanding of your understanding of the teaching of English for or in the senior secondary curriculum. You may be wondering why I find myself in the arts faculty to discuss English or the teaching of English. It's fairly simple. English, or the use of English, can be used for artistic purposes. A novel is an artistic expression of the world that surrounds us or the experiences that we have. Poetry is an art form. Some may argue that even an academic paper is not only an expression of our understanding and belief, but a form of art. Whichever case it is, the author needs to understand how the English language is produced to form a text. They must have the ability to master the language and its forms and its linguistic features. And as teachers, this is what we try to impart to our students, because eventually, once they leave grade 12, they will become, in some way, artists navigating the world around them. Well, Nicholas, this is nice. It's great. But what does this have to do with my assignment, you may ask? The assignment and the use of English is about accuracy, is about expressing our opinion and our understanding accurately. And so in your assignment, although they were good, although they were very informative, although they were able to demonstrate your understanding of the task at hand, was it accurate? Did you express your opinions and your understanding in the most effective and convincing way? The production of text, whether it be in a textbook or in a song or in a play or in a poem, has to be accurate. The words are carefully measured. Just like in a tool shed, all the tools must be organized. All the tools must be readily accessible. And we need to understand what the tools are and how they function. And this is what the students need to understand, is that yes, we have English, and yes, we have English grammar, and yes, we have English vocabulary. But how do we use them in the most effective way to create a message that is artistic? The students need to understand, how do we use the machinery, the mechanism, effectively to consistently produce the same high quality product? Because our students, again, will need to develop these skills to the extent that they can produce something convincing, which impacts on the audience and the reader in such a way that becomes art. It becomes a text that is impactful. It has an effect on people, potentially the world. It can be done by one person. It can be done through many. And these are the skills that we need to impart in the teaching of English. collaborative work, collaborative assessment, collaborative production, negotiation of meaning, trying to understand what is the author telling me, how is the author expressing himself. We can do this either individually or together. That's part of the task. That's part of the outcome. Okay, that's enough with the artistic metaphors and going to visit the art faculty. Let's get down to business. Assignments were in general very good, okay? And previously at the beginning of this video, if you listen carefully, I used the term colleagues. And that's because I recognize that some of you are currently working in the education industry, and so I can see and I could view and understand your background knowledge in this field, okay? And I respect that and I value that, so that's why I call you colleagues. Now, in terms of the assessment, thank you very much for mentioning the criteria or the elements needed, such as assessment, obviously, moderation, and feedback. Those were some of the 3 keywords that you needed to address. But if I can give some feedback, it would be the following one. In general, in the assignments that I've read, what I noticed is that some papers refer to the teaching and learning process as students will learn about linguistic features or poetic devices. That's great. But what exactly are the students supposed to learn, and what exactly will they be assessed on? What is it that you want the students to learn in a poetic device? Are you looking at imagery? Are you looking at alliteration? What is it that they are going to learn? Because what they're learning is eventually what they will be assessed on. So they've got to gain an understanding of the exact terms, examples that they need in order to gain the understanding, acquire the knowledge, and retain it. Because if they don't retain exactly what it is that you want to share with them, most likely on the assessment, they will not be able to demonstrate what it is that you want them to demonstrate. Thank you also for mentioning validity, reliability, and fairness, which are some of the terms that I use in ACARA and in SACS or SACE. Also, thank you for mentioning feedback, but the feedback that we provide to students must be informative. It must make things easier for them to understand what it is that they've misunderstood. And finally, if we really look at the assignment carefully, the whole assignment is a moderation process. It's not just reflecting on our practices, but it's actually justifying why we've selected an assessment piece, how we're going to teach it, what is it that we want the students to be able to understand, how it fits in with the bigger picture, which is ACARA and SAS or whatever state and territory you're from. Because once you've written all of that, and once you've dissected every part and you've justified every section and every decision that you've made, you've basically moderated yourself. And you can now present this document to a colleague to moderate and say, well, these are the reasons why I'm doing things the way I'm doing them. You've moderated it, you've reflected on it, and you've provided an argument as to why this particular approach and method and learning style and learning strategy and teaching process and teaching approach engages and enhances the students' learning output. I understand that this video is broad and general. I understand that I couldn't provide you with specific ideas or specific examples. If I did that, then obviously you know who I'm speaking about or what assignment I'm speaking about. And that's why I have to keep it general. I hope that you appreciate this video. It's not an exercise in vanity. It is an exercise in trying to understand the unit, the content, and how my students perform. Because your assessment is feedback about the content. It is feedback as to how you understand the content and how you understand the assessment piece. And your assignment indicates to me what needs to be improved. So as a lecturer, your assignment can be a form of feedback, but also moderation as to how you perceive teaching and learning and how best to apply it. But in terms of text, in terms of English, as you can see, I'm in the library, stating the obvious, but you can see how students need to be able to understand not only the best reading comprehension skills that will help them in their academic career or in their career path, but also how to produce text that can be entertaining or informative or directive. All the best with assignment 2.